All right, we're going to review these lessons and you're going to do this lesson independently. So let's go ahead and take a look at each. You will need to turn to 4.1 in your journal. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go over some vocabulary words quickly. So make sure that you kind of, just look at what we're kind of doing. I'm going to move these around. Remember, an expression is one or more numbers, variables or numbers, and variables with one or more operations. So remember, there's no equal sign there. So it's an expression. It's going to have numbers. It's going to have variables. It could have both, a combination. It could have more than one operation. And remember what operations are. Remember, operations can be adding, subtracting, dividing, multiplying, and dividing. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the equation definition. Move some of these around. Is a statement that two expressions are equal. It has an equal sign. And of course, then on both sides of that equation, they are going to be equal. So it's like you have a balance in the middle there, right? Okay, so let's put that one on the way. And just a reminder of the properties of multiplication. And when you have parentheses, and when the associative properties is really that it doesn't matter where you put the parentheses, the answer will always stay the same. And the commutative means you kind of like move things around. If you change the orders of the factors, you'll still get the same answer, okay? And when we talked about the multiplication identity, it really means that your identity is one. If you get a driver's license or an identity card, just because you might change your hair color, you get colored contacts, you get married, you're always going to be that person. So it doesn't matter how many times you change the way you look, you still are you. So Miss N is always going to be Miss N. It doesn't matter if I change my hair color to get different glasses, it's always going to stay the same. Okay? Now, if you need further review, I'm going to embed this mini video into the website. So it will look like this. So I would like to, basically, I should probably just change this up a little bit. Sometimes they play when you have them in the, so you're going to have to pause this video and go to the math section and then look for this. Well, it should be right next to it. That's probably where I'll put it. So try this out. Watch this video to remind yourself of what the property identity is of multiplication. All right, so remember, an expression is one or more numbers or variables with one or more operations. So express, we're going to express our thinking through math. An equation is two of these expressions that are equal, and you're going to see that equal sign, aren't you? Okay, so let's go ahead and simplify. Remember, we talked about simplify means put it in its easiest form. An expression or equation by performing operations to combine like terms. So we want to combine things that are alike to things that are different, right? There's a difference. So like means let's put together what's correct. So we're using the identity property. Remember what we said, the identity property is that any number times 1 is going to be that number. So if any number is times that number, and this n is just like this other n, so that n becomes like a little 1. So I'm really saying 5 times 1, and that n represents that property, so it's got to be 1. So 1 plus 5n is what? 6n. The identity property tells me that 17 times 1 is 17, and these are like terms, so that's got to be 1, right? So 17 plus 1 is what? 18t. Then I have 245x plus x equals what? That's right, 245x. Oh, this is tricky. Well, I see these numbers together. Remember, sometimes mathematicians put, this is supposed to be a 9. It looks like a tall A, doesn't it? And a lot of times mathematicians will also put things like this in parentheses. Whenever you're that close, that means to multiply if they look like that. Remember how we learned, my stylus doesn't work the greatest, like we learned how to do an X for multiplication, but we also learned how to do a dot, and it means the same thing. That's what that means, even if you put the letter, if I did 4 and then a small 3, my stylus doesn't want to work right. Ugh, sorry, maybe I just need to make it bigger, right? I know to multiply that, all right? Let me erase some of that so it doesn't get us kind of too carried away here, right? All right. All right, so 9e minus e is what? That's right, 8e. 8c plus c plus c. So remember, identity property tells me that, and I might as well combine the rest of these. So if this really becomes just 8, 1 plus 1 is what? That's right, 10c. 5z, and remember the rule about parentheses. What do? Do me first. And there is a video that you can watch, and I'll show that to you next if you forgot. 5z minus z. So that's basically we're saying this is just 5. And I want to combine these like, so that's got to be 1. So I'm going to do this first. 5 minus 1 is what? 4 minus 1 is what? 3z. All right. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to try to do 7 through 12 on your own. Pause the recording, and I'm going to write the answers, and then you check yourself and see if you got it right. All right? All right, pause the video, please, right now. Don't wait. Well, how did you do? Now remember, do you notice how Ms. Zabowski, it looks like she put numbers above the parentheses? If you need to do that, you can do that. Remember, parentheses say, do me first. So make sure you do parentheses first. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at this next section. Use properties to find the value of box or A. So this is also considered a variable as well. They don't have to have letters. They can be a box. So what we're saying is, this is our middle. This equal sign means equal. How do I balance this equation to make sure, because it's an equation, there's two different expressions here. This is considered an expression, and this is an expression. How do I make that balance? That's right, 17. It's right there, isn't it? Now, this is my balancing point. And remember how we learned about the properties that it doesn't matter where we put them, especially with multiplication, it doesn't matter. If this is a times 2 times 3 equals 4 times 2 times 3, what does a have to be? That's right, 4. Let's look at this one. Here's my balance. I have to balance on both sides, don't I? Oh, I shouldn't be afraid of that box. So what? If it's 6 times 8 over on this side of the balance, or equal sign, I have to balance on this side, right? Or I tip over. What does box have to equal? That's right, good, 8. All right, so now if I have this one down here, I have my balance. I look on each side, 6 times 40 plus 6 times 5. Well, I have 6 times 40 plus what? What am I going to put there? This one's a little bit trickier. Let's see if you can figure out. Did you come up with 5? Excellent. What about number 17? Here's my balancing point. So this side of the equation has to balance with this side. Oh boy, I have 7 times 5 plus 4. And I know that that's 14, right? So what am I doing? I'm kind of using my... And I wanted to bring this back out so you can see it. So basically what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter where I put the parentheses or what order I put them in, it should still be the same, right? Okay, because I can associate with other numbers. So what do you think goes in there? Did you guess 7? You would be correct, because I can associate back to those. I'll still get the same answer, won't I? All right, let's look at number 18. 18 says 29 plus 8 equals box plus 29. Is box equal to 4 plus 2 or 4 times 2? Pause, and I want you to think about it. That's right. I have to have 4 times 2 because I have to have something that will equal 8. And 4 times 2 only equals what? 6. Yeah, it doesn't equal 8. All right, Ms. Dabowski's got to move her page and erase a few things, so hold on. All right, this is not cooperating for Ms. Dabowski, but here we go. We're on number 19. A times 14 equals 14 times 15, right? All right, I got to balance on both sides. This has got to balance with that. Is it going to be, does A going to equal 5 times 3 or 5 plus 3? Well, if I already have 14, how do I get 15? That's right, 5 times 3. Now I have 60 plus 10. Oh, I got a balance on both sides. Equals box plus 60. Well, I have to balance, so what am I going to fit into that box? Does 2 plus 5 work? Does 2 times 5 work? That's right, 2 times 5, because it has to equal 10. This one only equals 7. It will not balance. All right, if you have time, go to the website, and under math, under unit 4, you can go ahead and watch this. These are the orders of operation. It's going to be a good practice, so why don't you take your time, and if you'd like to, watch this video, and then we'll continue to the next page. All right? All right. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of these together with you. Then I would like you to try them on your own. And then I would like for you to then pause the recording and then check yourself, all right? So n times n, 9 times n equals 144. So I have to say to myself, how do I get that answer? Well, I have to figure out 9 times 10 is 90. That's not enough. And then I have to keep adding more. Or what's another way I could do that? Right, I could also do division if I get stuck. So I know it's going to be at least 1 in my, I don't like the stylus I'm using, it's not the greatest. 54 and 16. So n equals 16. S plus 170 equals 200. You know what my brain thinks about? I think about this 200 and this 70 being like 7 plus something gets me 10, because these are 100, 200, 300. So right away, I know in my brain it's 30. Like, that's what it does in my head. I look for bigger patterns. Then I have 105 divided by h equals 7. What is h? Well, I can say to myself, 7 times something gets me 105. Or another way I could look at that is I could just work out the division, right? I know it's going to be more than 10, right? Because 7 times 10 is 70, so that won't be enough. So I can go ahead and try to use my not so good stylus. And what's my answer? 15. So I can go ahead and put my answer. And next time Miss Belsky's going to dig out her better stylus. Okay? All right, so now let's go ahead and look at these next few. And then I'm going to let you do them on your own. And I'm going to have you check them. 10, remember, what is the rule? Parentheses, do me first. So I have to look at parentheses because I've got to go in a certain order. There's just rules, just like there's grammar rules. There's rules about lining up for lunch. 10 minus 4 is what? 6 times 7 is what? 42. But look at what it says. I look to my equal sign and I have to balance here. What is going to go in order for this to be equal, to be balanced? What does the box have to be? That's right, it has to be 6, because really what I'm saying here is 6 times 7. You see this equation after I've done the operation? I already have 6 times 7. So this, even though in the beginning it looked really different, didn't it? It's like, how could this part really equal this part? It does, doesn't it? All right, I'm going to look again, and this time look at where my equal sign is. Oh, it's G. So I have to go and figure out the whole thing. Where do I start? Yeah, I'm going to start at the parentheses. 9 minus 3 is what? 6. 4 times 6 is what? 24. So G equals 24. All right, I want you to go through till 33. I want you to write the answers, and then you can start the video back up to check your answers. All right? Don't cheat. I mean, if you want to cheat and just watch me write in the answers, that's fine. But you're never going to learn, are you? So challenge yourself. Turn off the video. I mean it. All right, so I'm going to do these with you. 10 minus 6 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Is it balanced? If there's a 2 over here, does it balance with that? Now I'm going to look at, I have to balance something with this side of the equation, don't I? It's not really what I wanted, Miss Ed. Here's my equal sign, it has to balance. That has to balance with that. So if I know the 8 is here, and here's my 8 there, what has to go in the box? Well, 9. And it'll both add up to 72, won't it? Or not multiply. Box times 6 equals 96. So 96 or that's my scale. It has to balance this, has to balance with this. And most of you probably thought to divide, and what did you get? 16. Good. This one, whoa, look at this. Look at this. All of this, these two expressions have to agree with this variable. So my equation says 15 divided by 3 times 4 times 1 equals V. So what is 15 divided by 3? 5. 4 plus 1? 5. What's 5 times 5? 25. Good job. What if I would have done things a little differently? Like if I would have just said, oh, I'm going to do, some people sometimes think that you can do things out of order. This one, it doesn't necessarily matter. But if you would have had subtraction in a different place, that would have thrown off your number 2. All right, number 30 was 12 minus 5 is 7. And you can put the numbers above there if that helps you. 12 minus 6 is 2. Now I'm going to go do it. 7 minus 2 is 5. 23 plus 4, 27. 8 minus 5 is 3. What's 27 divided by 3? Good. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Times 12 minus 7 is 5. 8 times 5 is? That's right, it's 40. 22 plus 8 is 30. 17 minus 11 is 6. What is 30 divided by 6? 5. Nice job. All right, the next part tells us we need to evaluate an expression or equation. Substitute the value of each letter. So evaluate means just to solve it. That's all it means. It's a fancy way. Substitute the value for each letter. So they're telling me take the value that the variable gives me and replace it. Then simplify the expressions. All right, so if A equals 4, I'm just going to put the 4 in there. So it becomes 4 plus 6 is what? Because I do parentheses first, and 19 minus 10 is what? Good, 9. I hope you're saying these to yourself. A equals 10, so I'm going to put 10 where A is. It says substitute it. So I'm going to switch the A, the letter, for the value because it's worth 10. So now I'm going to go parentheses first. 80 divided by 10 is what? 8. You can write it above if you need to. Minus 5 is what? 3. Good. B equals 3. So I'm going to put a 3 in here. 8 divided by 4 is what? Good. 2. 7 minus 3 is what? Whoops. 7 minus 3 is 4. Now, 2 times 4 is what? 8. You ready? I want you to do the rest and then check your answer. Pause the video, please. Pause, pause, pause. All right, let's check our answers. 7. So 7 minus 4 is 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7. I'm going to substitute 11 for the variable B. And I'm going to do 11 plus 9 is what? 20 divided by 7 minus 2 is 5 equals 4. 20 divided by 4, oops, sorry, 5 equals 4, does it? Sorry. I'm going to substitute 8. That's the value. It's worth 8, the variable. So I'm going to substitute that. 20 minus 10 is 10. 7 plus 8 is 15. And my answer is, I'm running out of room, 25. Miss Belsey's got to make her pages a little bit bigger, doesn't she? And X equals 9. 13 minus 9 is 4. And what is 16 times 4? 64. I'm going to substitute D into 3. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. 3 plus 7 is 10. So 8 times 10 is 80. And 0, I'm going to substitute 0 for D. 63 divided by 9, or 7 is 9. I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? And 9 times 0 is 0. How'd you do? All right, great job.